Right from the get-go of Abramovich's tenure as Chelsea owner, he made it clear through his actions that he had zero tolerance for underperformance. He established a model where managers were judged on immediate, tangible success, especially in Europe, rather than long-term project building. When the Tinkerman Ranieri led the team to a second-place finish in the first season under Abramovich ownership, only denied by Arsenal's Invincibles who went the entire season unbeaten, it seemed excusable and even had the fans' support. But Ranieri was sacked shortly after the season ended. His successor, Jose Mourinho's time was highly successful, winning 2 Premier League titles, 2 League Cups, and 1 FA Cup. However, failing to win the league in his third season, and another Champions League exit led to tensions, worsened by transfer disputes, resulting in Mourinho's exit early in the following season. This set a precedent for a relentless hire and fire culture throughout Abramovich's tenure. Among his most brutal dismissals was that of Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti took over as Chelsea manager in June 2009, succeeding Luis Felipe Scolari, who, despite his international success with Brazil, failed to replicate that form at the club level and was sacked after just 7 months. Guus Hiddink stepped in as interim manager in February 2009, steadying the ship and guiding Chelsea to a third-place finish in the Premier League, 5 points behind champions Manchester United. It had been a tough 3 years for Chelsea fans, watching United win Premier League titles year after year, while the Champions League remained elusive. Ancelotti, coming from AC Milan, where he had won the Champions League twice, Serie A, and several other cups, had a European pedigree that aligned with Abramovich's obsession with winning trophies, particularly the Champions League, which Chelsea had never won at that point. Ancelotti joined and delivered immediate success, restoring Chelsea to their best and making them seemingly indomitable.
Ball in towards Drogba, on the chest, here's the volley, and there's the save from Cudicini, and surely it is in!
He utilised the team's predators, Drogba, Lampard, Anelka, Malouda and Kalou, so effectively that goals poured in like rain. When a win was needed in their final league game of the 2009-2010 season against Wigan to secure the championship, goals overflowed, 8 strikes.
Get in, you beauty! Ivanovich's ball in, and Anelka! Oh, yes! Turn on the style!
Chelsea ended up setting a Premier League record by scoring 103 goals, the first top-flight team to reach 100 goals since 1963, surpassing United's previous record of 97 from the 1999-2000 season. The Italian guided Chelsea to the Premier League, FA Cup and Community Shield. Ancelotti still had a long way to go, but Stamford Bridge fans considered him on par with Jose Mourinho, who had last won the Premier League for Chelsea in 2006. A title defence awaited Ancelotti. If the Italian assumed his prior triumph would earn him leniency if the second season fell short of expectations, he was greatly mistaken. Roman Abramovich was no Silvio Berlusconi. Success had to match or surpass the previous season, or Ancelotti would face dismissal. The title defence started well, winning 8 of their first 10 games, but the team's form slumped midway. The departure of experienced players like Michael Ballack, Giuliano Belletti, Joe Cole and Deco, along with Ricardo Carvalho's transfer to Real Madrid to join Mourinho, all in the summer of 2010, began to impact the team negatively. These veterans, though past their peak, provided quality, versatility, and locker room leadership needed to keep the team formidable. Their exits, without suitable replacements of similar skill or experience, reduced the team's output compared to its previously high-scoring form. Ramirez, signed in the summer of 2010 though dynamic, was unpolished and lacked the technical skill or goal-scoring ability of someone like Ballack. Yossi Benayoun, also signed in the same transfer window, was frequently sidelined by injuries and remained a minor contributor. Most disappointing was winter signing Fernando Torres, who, despite a record-breaking transfer fee, underperformed dramatically, scoring only once. This left Chelsea overly reliant on a small core of starters, especially Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba, Florent Malouda, Nicolas Anelka, Ashley Cole, Michael Essien and John Terry. Moreover, Manchester United, under Alex Ferguson, were resurgent, and emerging teams like Manchester City intensified the competition for the league title. By early April, Chelsea had been eliminated from 3 of the 4 titles they were contesting. Kicked out of the Champions League in the quarter-finals by Manchester United, lost in the FA Cup 5th round to Everton on penalties, and eliminated in the League Cup 4th round by Newcastle United. Given Abramovich's history of intolerance for failure, Ancelotti knew his tenure was unlikely to extend beyond the season. The league title was the only trophy left to vie for.
We'll have to get right today. Park emerging from midfield. Chicharito through the middle. What a chance! What a start! Within the first minute, Chicharito scores! Or he beats Killou, all ends up.
Effectively over on May 8th, 2011, when Chelsea lost 2-1 to Manchester United at Old Trafford, leaving United 7 points ahead with 2 games remaining. Chelsea's final game of the season was a 1-0 loss to Everton at Goodison Park.
Way through, extraordinary! It's Beckford against Cech! Oh yes!
In an abrupt dismissal, Carlo Ancelotti was informed of his sacking by Chelsea's chief executive, Ron Gourlay, in a corridor at Goodison Park after completing his post-match press conference. The poor man had to say his farewells to players on the flight back to London. This abrupt delivery in a public, non-private setting, without allowing him to return to London or meet with the club's hierarchy formally, was seen as cold and disrespectful, especially for a manager of his stature. This was the same coach who had led Chelsea to a historic domestic double, winning both the Premier League and FA Cup in his first season, a feat no other Chelsea manager had achieved. His team also set a record by scoring 103 goals in the Premier League that season. Even in his second season, despite not winning any trophies, Chelsea finished second in the Premier League, only 9 points behind Manchester United. And Ancelotti's overall win percentage, 61.47%, was the 3rd highest in Premier League history at the time, behind only Jose Mourinho and Alex Ferguson. Sacking a manager with such a strong record after one trophyless season was viewed as unreasonably harsh. After Ancelotti's departure, Chelsea appointed Andre Villas-Boas in June 2011, who struggled and was sacked after just 8 months. This was followed by Roberto Di Matteo's appointment as interim manager, leading to Champions League and FA Cup triumphs in 2012. However, he was sacked after a poor start to the 2012-2013 season. Retaining Ancelotti might have provided some continuity, potentially matching or exceeding the later 2012 Champions League success without the interim chaos. Ancelotti's later success at Real Madrid and previous success with Milan demonstrated his ability to build dynasties, which perhaps Chelsea missed out on.